What's up, YouTube? It's Biblical Truther. I just want to thank all you guys who tried to check out that video on BitChute. I kind of had a feeling it wasn't going to work, so I'm going to explain here in just a few minutes uh, the dream that my wife had. That she and I, it was the first video she and I did together on YouTube, and some of you guys might remember that video. It wasn't the simulation video; it was the one before that. She's only done two with me before, but I'm gonna explain that dream again. But first, I want to show you this.
All right. We're going to take a look at this book now. This whole slide is about this book. All right. It's going to basically correlate everything we just read in the last 2 or 3 hours. All right. And I hope you guys are ready for this.
Ooh.
All right. Now it says a genealogical history, Jews and Muslims in British colonial America. All right. A genealogical history. And now
Before
you
you
see.
read anything, let's have the people see if they can break down this image right here.
All right. I want somebody who's wise, right? To see if they know what this symbol represents. Something we've read. Can you guys break down this symbol right here on the cover of this book? What does it mean? All right. All right. I don't think people are gonna guess this. So,
All right. Well,
all
let's walk them through it.
well, this is, some people would say, a theory, right? But
Yeah.
for those who have the knowledge to discern things, right? What we just read, right? These people simulating, taking over, handling banks, money, commerce, selling slaves. They happen to be Moors, Jews, conversos, some of them. All right. You know, all right. Tree of Life, Fan Tree, St. Cloud. All right. So now we see two symbols, right? What are these two symbols on the top? We see the Star of David and the crescent moon, right? Wouldn't that be like a so-called Hebrew or Jewish symbol and a so-called Muslim Islamic symbol together?
Yes, sir.
Well, aren't they at war today all the time, supposedly?
That's what they tell us.
All right. So now I want people to notice something. Now, what I noticed, what Mikio and what a new breed pointed out to Mikio while we were first encountering this book.
Yes, sir. Big ups
Right.
to brother Anu.
Yeah, big ups to Anu because he likes to take it biblical a lot of the time. And so now, what we saw was, we see 7 branches, right? 7 main branches, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we got 10 like crest or family arms or like heads, right? Or the other way around, right? But now, what does
Yeah.
that remind you of? We're talking about 7 and 10. Now remember what Huguenot means. Remember what a Huguenot means. Remember
Exactly.
a confederacy, conspirators, a camaraderie, an oath, camaraderie. All right. So in Revelation, in the book of Revelation, we read the beast. What is the beast? How is the beast described in Revelation?
Oh well, what's that? 7 heads. And
Has
what was that? How many crowns did he have?
has something to do with 10 and 7, right? 7 heads, 10 horns. Look at that.
Oh, that's it.
All right. 7 branches, 10 coat of arms. You see 10 stars, right? You count 8 stars in the flag, and then you count the 2 in the top. That's 10.
And
All
those
right.
2 on the top represent what? Control of everything of those branches, right?
The control of all these branches, the head. What is the origin, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna continue now. Now this book, I found this in Google Books, and I also found it in archive.org. Surprisingly, I was very surprised to find this in archive.org. It's like they want us to know right now. And if you're here right now listening and you're still holding on and you're taking this personal, well, you got to let that go right now. All right, I'm about to read something right here. And this is for the wise. This is for you to discern. All right, wake up. All right. This is an archive.org, so they want you to know this is public. They want you to know the seals are open. All right. Jews and Muslims in British colonial America, a genealogical history.
So that was a little clip from Kudimeru Ahua, I think is how you pronounce his name. I'm getting better at it, but I've been binge listening and watching when I can at work to a lot of his videos, and I've been sharing a lot of them in my community posts. I'm not sure how many come across your feeds or not, but some very interesting information in history that we're never told about. And I am inclined to believe it simply because they, at this point in their control, they don't care if we know who's in control, who they are, so forth and so on. So that was just a small fragment of this 5 hour video, almost 5.5 hour video I listened to today. But it fully explains, and we know that almost all, according to the little 12-year-old girl who did the research a couple years back, that every president we've ever had are relatives, except for I think one she wasn't able to find, which is very interesting because this is not only uh, today's reality, but it's also biblical in a sense, as far as where the hijack took place. As I told you guys a few months ago, I was feeling in my spirit that these people were able to write themselves in to the biblical narrative some type of way. And I was being told it goes all the way back to the garden, but that may not be entirely true, only that in the sense of them writing themselves into the Bible, does it go all the way back to the garden? Is my understanding at this point. That's pretty interesting, man. This guy goes so deep into genealogy and who these people were, and it kind of answers the question of what the whole immigration situation we have today is, what the Brotherhood of Light versus the Brotherhood of Darkness is. It's a spiritual war for sure, but it's also two people groups that are vying for the power of the next, what should I say, after the next reset. They're kind of fighting for control of who's going to be the world leaders after that. So anyway, it's a long video, I know, but it's in the community post. It's the last one I made. If you just go to the channel under community post, it'll be the first one. But I've posted like 3 or 4 of them so far over the last few days that I found highly interesting. But it explains a lot. So if you have the time to listen to this last one, who are the Huguenots or the Huguenots? That will actually shed light on how they were able to take this country over the way it's been taken over. It'll explain to you perfectly who these elites are behind the scenes, or the hidden hand. As I understand it now, that's who these people are, and we see them all over TV showing who they are by doing their little hand signs. Who the top guys are as far as the Masons, the free ones, and yeah, so it's a big conspiracy to say the least, but a true one. But anyway, I'm gonna get to the dream now. So this was about 3 or 4 years ago. My wife had this dream, and she told me the very next morning, and she told me that the last time I shared this, I actually shared it by myself without her one time, and then I got her on to actually share it firsthand. But anyway, she tells me that we had a child, a baby, a new baby, or we were going to have a baby, which is ironic because that's what's happening right now. And it's crazy that this thing is starting to come about in the form of the show that I mentioned yesterday. But anyway, she said in this dream we had dropped our children off with a babysitter, a couple, and we went to the doctor or the hospital or whatever we were doing. And upon getting back to pick up our children, we found that there were no children at this house, none of our children, and none of this. I guess they were type of daycare or whatever, because there were other children there, but there was no children there when we went back to get our children. Sounds like a tongue twister, right? But anyway, so one thing led to another, and she and I found not only our children, but multiple children in the attic of this house where this daycare was, and they were all drugged up. So once we found these children, we had to pretty much fight our way out. And once we got out, I don't know exactly what happened with the other children, but my children, we felt like we needed to bring our oldest daughter to the doctor in urgent care. She says at this urgent care, it was like run by some Aryan Brotherhood types. But upon getting in the back of this urgent care, she had to use the bathroom, and one of the nurses was like, I'll stay with her in the room. You know, it's fine. You can go to the bathroom. So my wife leaves to go to the bathroom. And when she gets back, she goes into the room where they have my daughter, and there's two nurses trying to give her this solution, you know, in the arm, right? So in the dream, she noticed in the trash can something, a little box, I guess the container that this solution came out of, and it said Nora, or at least that's what she thought it said at the time. And you know, as I said, this was years, probably a year and a half maybe before our current situation, or the situation that we just have been going through, you know, the 1-9er situation. So we never thought anything about it until we started hearing about this new solution. And it has to do with, you know, as I said, that video that got took down recently after being up for a period of almost a year, 11 months, almost a year. They decided to give me a strike on that has to do with a supernova, right? So as I put in the title of this video, depending on the font used, an R and a V can be definitely confused, especially in a dream and at a glance, no less. You could mistake a R for a V. You know, there's plenty of fonts. If you go on your computer and look through all your fonts, there's plenty of them that you can mistake those two letters for, right? So when we started hearing about this new supernova, started doing research about it, and that's when we came across everything that's in this new show, The Last of Us. What they start out the very first episode on, talking about this fungus that is able, it's almost a parasitic fungus that's able to mind control its host. But it don't just mind control the host, it takes over that host, turning their biological tissues into its own biological tissues, thereby you know, remote controlling, if you will. Trying to be very careful, because even though I'm trying to be very careful, I'll probably still get a strike for this video, but it is what it is. It needs to be said. So y'all remember all the videos that were circulating about the coroners since the last solution was given, or the last 3 solutions rather were given, that these coroners were coming out saying that they were finding these things in the arteries of people, like big, long, white, tissuey, rubbery type filament stuff. And they attribute it to the solution being that that's the only thing that's really changed in a mass populated way for them to start seeing this in a wide variety of patients who are coming in there, whether they're young or old. They all who have been introduced to this solution had this stuff in their, you know, veins and arteries and whatnot. So that ties right back into this new show and the research that we did. I don't know if I should put that research and those links in the description of this video. You might, being that it's still up on BitChute, because even if I get a strike on this video, I can't just post it to BitChute, because as you can tell, there's censorship there too, and I think that's the case for all platforms at this point. But you could just go to BitChute and look at those links that I provided in that video. And it was about the same time that they were talking about this solution that has already been given to the world, having to do with the what is it? They basically H, and I think the other letter is I, and it has to do with a V. You know, they were talking about that when we started looking into this supernova, and it led us on a whole rabbit trail of Rwanda and you know, dead people that walk and such. So I don't think this is going to be something that's going to take place anytime soon. I think this is more of a 2024 situation that may come about, because right now they are hot and heavy on pronouncing the last solution. You know, the one that starts with an M, and I think there's an R, and then it continues with an N and ends with I think it's an A. That solution they are basically calling out as the cause of all sorts of situations on the mainstream. And I find that funny because during our research of this supernova, this you know, star thing that's coming out, they were almost basically, and I think it's one of the first articles in the description of that video on BitChute, but they're almost talking about it like it's the end all be all for all solutions. So with all this being exposed in the mainstream about these problems that the last solution is causing, the new one is gonna solve all those problems. Now, I don't know if this is a two-part solution. You know, you had to get the first one for the body change, and then the second one for the parasitic change where it mind controls people. I don't know, but we know that the Bible says people will seek death and shall not find it, right? So you may be very well cognitive of what's happening, but can't die because of this mixture. You know, this end all be all solution. So hopefully this doesn't get taken down. It probably will, but maybe, you know, the ones who need to see it will see it before they hit it with a strike. But I don't see why they would. But you know, they're getting pretty smart these days, and I'm one who on neither channel that I've had has gotten over 600 subscribers, and that just kind of blows me away. But it is what it is. You know, I talk about some very controversial things, but there's a lot of things that I'm directly over the target dropping bombs on, and they're removed pretty quickly. So I think that's one of the reasons why I can't get a subscriber count any higher than 600. But it is what it is. If you like and share or whatever, you know, I'm not one to ask for anyone to do that, but that may help, it may not. You know, if they're going to censor somebody, they're going to censor somebody. It makes no difference how many likes, shares, or subscribes you get. You know what I mean? But just something to think about, something to research on your own, that if this is going to happen the way I see it's gonna, then they're going to need something to be a savior. If they're vilifying this solution the way they are starting to right now, they may even round the people up responsible, but the people that are going to take their place are no more benevolent than the last, right? So anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone for now. But yeah, go check out Kuti Mayo, I think is the way you pronounce it. Who are the Huguenots? That's gonna open your eyes to a lot. Connect a lot of dots, and a lot of why is this going on? Why is this happening? Why there's so many immigrants coming from here? Why is, you know, our government sending so much money to this other particular country where it used to be called Ashkenaz in biblical times. But I got another video I put up on my community post that talks about those fellows as well and who they are from the lineage of. And I think I have a little caption there that says, "Know thy enemy." So that's another one you may want to check out. It'll connect a whole lot of dots as well. So if you don't get any notifications of my community posts, just I'll go check them out. It's not none of my videos, it's other people's videos and research who have the time to do such and have enough time to do a lot of reading like he does. So if you want to know and connect all the dots about what's really going on, go check him out, man. He's got some intense research and it will shed light on a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Just beware when this thing rolls out that's going to be the 1-2 punch. You know what I'm saying? But they're waiting on. Love you guys.
Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints,